here with Charmed Grammy Crochet, and I'm back in the yarn room. I did want to welcome you all to my yarn room again. I brought you up here because I want to show you the blanket that I'm making for Chloe's, update on that. And I also I promised I would tell you about the mystery crime scene investigation murder mystery thing that I did at the campground, and I forgot all about it the last time on the last video that I made at the camper. So I thought I would tell you about that today. But first I want to show you the blanket, the purple. I finished one skein of the Red Heart Super Saver Ombre in the purple. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just assume you do. So in case you don't know, if you're new, newer than the last couple days, welcome and thanks. And if you're older than the last couple of days and forever, thanks for coming and joining me. My granddaughter Chloe goes to Case Western Reserve University. This will August, I guess, starts her 3rd year, and she's going to have 3 roommates. And she asked me to make her a blanket that would be big enough to cover the 4 girls while they're like sitting on the couch having movie night or whatever. So I'm so excited to do that. When someone asks me, a family member asks me to make them something, I'm like, yay. And so I'm doing a pattern by Yarnspirations. It's on their website. I can't remember what it's called, but I will have it linked in the description box below. And there's also a tutorial. Mikey does a tutorial. And I was having problems with the pattern. First of all, I decided that I'm going to do 4 separate blankets, and through a subscriber decided that I'm going to button them together. I wanted to do 4 separate blankets and whip stitch them together so that at the end of the year the kids could take out the whip stitching and they could all take home their own blanket. And each blanket is being made with the favorite color of the girl it represents. So one of the girls' favorite color is purple, and I picked out this Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. All of the colors are ombre. I only brought this one up with me. All the rest of them are still downstairs. But we have the this one is called Violet, and we have the Jazzy Pink, Sunshine Yellow, which should be arriving today, and Scuba in the blue colors, teal, turquoise. And I was having trouble. First, I did a pattern that I decided I didn't like. So I had picked out a pattern and picked out the yarn. And I started doing the first pattern, and with a yarn that I got at Dollar Tree that I just picked up when I was at the camper, so I'd have something to practice the stitches with, see if I liked the pattern. And I do like the pattern very much. It was a fiber spider pattern, but I didn't like it with this yarn. Even though I think this yarn would be pretty with it, it just wasn't laying right. It wasn't the right texture. I don't know. It wasn't working out for me. So I scrapped that blanket and decided on the blanket that I'm making from Yarnspirations. And I started it in the pink. And then I decided that the yarn isn't thick enough, squishy enough. I kind of wanted it to be lighter weight, but I love the colors. The colors are working out beautiful, but I wasn't happy with the squishiness and comfort of the blanket. So I decided to mix it with a white, and I did. And then after doing about 16 rows, I noticed that there was a problem with me or the pattern or something, but something wasn't working out properly. And so I frogged and redid, and so I've tried about 16 times to start this blanket, but now I got it under control. I did change it a little. I've added a little bit of texture with the ribbing here, more than what, and so the marl with the white kind of takes away from the pattern design, I think. Takes away from the stitch pattern, the big chunkiness of it. But all in all, let's see if you look at it in this direction. I love it. It's soft and squishy. You still get the different colors of the you know, yarn in there of the ombre, and it's thick enough that it'll be warm, holey enough that it can like even be comfortable. I think in the they won't be wearing it in August, but they wouldn't wear the other one in August either. But they can use it when it's still warmer. It doesn't have to be freezing yet, and they'll still like them, I think. So I'm really grateful for the button idea, because one of my subscribers said, use a button. And then they can take it apart to wash it, if, you know, separately, and they can. So then I was thinking about that, and I'm like, oh, a big chunky button in the color that matches their blanket. But only 3 of them would need buttons. But I decided, and then someone said, oh, buttons is a good idea, because then they could wrap it around and even button it to themselves later. You know, just button it to keep it on, kind of like a poncho. And I'm like, that's a cool idea. I love that idea as well. So then I was thinking, they're going to Case Western Reserve, so it's Case WRU, Case Western Reserve University. If I do 4 buttons per blanket, maybe I can get some custom buttons made in each of the colors, pink, purple, teal, and yellow. A series of 4 buttons with, you know, 1 in purple, 1 in pink, you know, all 4 letters. So then it'll just be more of a reminder of college if they have the letters that match their color. And so I thought, that's an awesome idea. So I went to Etsy and I started looking around. Well, my daughter-in-law, my youngest daughter-in-law, or the wife of my youngest son, and she is the youngest daughter-in-law at the same time, she does work with resin, so I'm trying to seeing about commissioning her to make these buttons. I'm thinking like 1.5 inches, because maybe 2 inches. I don't know if a 2-inch button. I'm going to have to look at some of the buttons I have and see how big I can fit them. But I was thinking that would be really cool. And since they're going to be individual and able to come apart like that with the button, then I can easily put a border on the blankets. And so I decided I need to determine, I was thinking the darkest color of the yarn, get something that's similar. I don't think I'm going to find an exact match, but first I'm going to shop my stash and see what I got. So when I came up here to make this video, I have finished now on this blanket 1 skein of white, and the first skein was Big Twist. Now I'm using Craft Smart. They're very interchangeable. You can't tell where I switched yarns. There's nothing different in the blanket whatsoever. I thought, I have this bin all full of white. I thought it was all Craft Smart, but there were a couple of Big Twist in there. So, let's see. This side is Big Twist. This side is Craft Smart. You can't tell. It doesn't tell in the squishiness or anything. So, anyway, I have finished also. I'm at the loose end of the purple is right here. So that'll be the first skein of this done. 482 yards in one of these, and there's about 350 yards in the Big Twist. So that's how long ago I switched out. So I came up here and thought, what purples do I have? And do I have anything close to this deep purple, the deepest purple on here? And I have this, that I think I got this at, oh, I did. I got it at Ollie's. It was on clearance for $3, or Ollie's priced for $3. The yardage is, oh no, 360 yards. And I have at least six of these, because purple is my favorite color, and I've learned to buy in bulk quantity. But I think that'll go good. I think that'll go good enough. It's not an exact match, but like I said, I don't think I'll get an exact match, but I think it'll be fine. What do you guys think? Up against the darkest purples over here, or over here. Here, let's see, that's a better section of the darker purple. It is a different color purple, maybe a little deeper, but I think that'll be okay too. I think it'll look fine as a border. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably a better. In person, it doesn't look as different, as dark. This one doesn't look as dark against this one in person as it does on the screen. But I think it'll be okay. I have a lot of those, so I can make a nice border with the purple, because my main objective in anything that I make is to shop my stash first. And I did in picking out the ombre yarns. I just didn't have enough because I didn't always try to buy bulk quantity because I just wasn't swabby enough to do that. And now I always try to get anything in multiples. Trish, Mama Swift, her and Madonna, hi ladies, are my first crochet mentors, and Trish always says, get enough, get blanket quantity, always buy blanket quantity. So whenever I can, I do that, particularly when I'm shopping clearance, and which is how I always want to shop, clearance or a really, really, really good sale. So I always look like when I go clearance shopping, like Hobby Lobby is my biggest clearance sale shop. I mean, who doesn't stock up when you can? But I'll buy like as much of one color as I can, because buy blanket quantity. Particularly if you're on clearance, because you know you're probably not going to get that color or in that dye lot again. They're clearing it out, you know. So if there's not blanket quantity and it's a yarn that I like, particularly solids, then I don't necessarily buy blanket quantity. You're clearing out, but when I do when I can. But on solid ones, it's not as important to me because I tend to mix those anyway. So enough about that. I just wanted to show you the progress and my son says that he believes that my daughter-in-law can make these buttons for me. And I can't decide, do I want them to be clear with like the C in the middle in the purple, or if I want them to be white with the C in the middle to be purple, or, you know, whatever coordinating color, or vice versa. I think I want them either clear or white with the letter, probably white, even though I think clear would be really cool, but I don't think the letter would show out as much as if it has a white background. So I'm thinking white background with you know, whatever color letter. So I want to give her yarn that's going to, I'm thinking yarn that's either scrapped from the blanket or, you know, from the Super Saver, or whatever color I pick for the border to like match the letters to. And I don't think just, you know, the same color for every letter for each, but I think that'll be fun. So I'm getting more and more excited about it. And I think that's all I can think of that I need to tell you about the blanket. I'm not going to have much to talk about with my crochet because I'm going to be stuck on these blankets now for a minute. But I did get pretty far after refrogging the whole thing, you know, with doing other things besides just crocheting. I think I did okay. It works up fast because you're doing two, you know, I'm holding two strands together, but I'm much slower at that than regular crocheting, so I don't really think it's working up faster. I think it might be slower because I'm using this 12mm hook, and I think I need to take a dryer sheet to it. Somebody said take a dryer sheet to it and then your yarn will slide better, but if I try to go fast, I always lose one of the yarns, so I don't go as fast as I would if I was using like one bulky color, you know what I mean? Now on to the murder mystery. That was so fun. We were in a big room with lots of people and set up at different tables, and everybody had their own case to close. They're called closed case criminal files or something like that. And they're all murders, and you have to determine, it comes in a kit, and you buy the kits from Amazon. I was looking at them. They're like 26 something. And we spent like 3 hours and had to cheat. We were having a hard time. Ours is the newest. The one that we did at my table was the newest case file that they had. And it was the hardest one so far, but they're interactive. And so you open up and it gives you all kinds of, it's like you're opening the evidence box, and you have to read through police reports and incident reports, and there's photographs, and there's newspaper clippings, and there's letters, and then there's a list of what should be in the box, and you open. They have a packet. You open the packet, and it says, "This was the case. Our case. The person that was deceased. Her name was Sarah. So it looked like it was an accidental death, but whoever has hired us, I guess like a private detective agency. I don't know. We're supposed to not believe that it was a murder or an accident. We think she was murdered, and we have to first be able to prove that it was not an accident. And then there was a second step. We had to prove that something else happened, and then we can prove that she was murdered and how she was murdered. And like, you have to look through the photographs, and you have to read the newspaper articles, and you have to do some detective work. And with the file that we did at the end, you had to go into her laptop, and the final clue is in the laptop. Their laptop was on record when she was killed. They determined, you figure out that possibly was the case. So the laptop is obviously locked. It's been in storage for a couple of years. This is a cold case. So we had to, and throughout, even, we were like taking our phones and taking pictures of the pictures so we could blow them up bigger and see details. And anyway, we had to go into her laptop. We had to figure out, what her email address was. So you're looking through the paperwork. Something has to have her email address on it. Then you have to answer the questions to get the laptop unlocked and like reset the password. So it goes through. You have to figure out different, like, and all the information is in there, but you had to like deduce what it was. So what university, what college did she go to? Well, there's nothing in there that talks about her. It's all about the suspects, because she's but there's something that talks about a college. So, hey, let's try that college. Yep, that was the college. Later, the question is, what street did she grow up on? Well, again, you don't get any information on her, but her brother is in there, and we find out that, we find the brother's address. Well, maybe he still lives in like the family home, and son of a gun, that worked. And then it was her favorite book. So there's a picture of her office, and there's books on the shelves, and we're trying to figure that out. And there's a book list in there, and we're trying to figure that out. And finally, we find out what that was. And then we could get into the laptop. Then we could figure out who done it. And it was really fun. It was hard. We had a big. It started with 5 of us in the group I was in with my friends. And it was hard to hear because there were so many people in this room, and it was like echoing. And I have a hard time with that, with the background noises over drowning the foreground noises, like people's voices. So communication was a little bit difficult in there. I think I would enjoy it more like if it was just my friends and I sitting at the table, so I'm thinking I might buy one, just to take to the campground, and we could do we play cards on Saturday afternoons quite frequently, so maybe if we didn't feel like playing cards, we could pull that out one time and try it with just the, you know, the same group of us, just in a quieter, more peaceful atmosphere. One of my friends and I really enjoyed it a whole lot, so maybe her and I would just do it ourselves, but I'm really thinking about doing it. I thought it was a great deal of fun. It would be a great family game. We go on family vacation with my kids and I, usually once a year. This year we went on the camping trip, but usually we go with my oldest two kids and their kids, and I think that would be a cool thing to do with them. We don't go out don't go out much at night because there's kids under 18, so we're not like going out bar hopping or anything. But we stay in after evening, you know, in the evenings we stay in and we play cards, or rainy days, something to do. And so I think maybe for sure when we do our family vacation, I might take one of those along. I think everyone would enjoy it, just as something different from normal games that we play. So if you get invited to do that, I would definitely suggest doing it. It was a great deal of fun. And like I said, I'm looking forward to doing it again. Is there anything else I need to tell you? I probably won't be making another video until the weekend. I'm not going to have much to show. I don't know how many times I'm going to show you the same blanket, and that's all I'm going to be working on is the blanket. And B, I'm working for the next 5 days in a row, so I'm going to be exhausted. Anyway, that's all I think I have for you today. So thanks for stopping in, visiting me in the yarn room. Do you guys see that pink right there? That might be a really cool pink to go with the jazzy. Might be too bright. I am going to have to pull that yarn out. I don't have any of it up here. It's all downstairs. I'm just seeing it in my background. I'm like, ooh, that might be a good one. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.